Hello from Roberto Quaglia. I'm here in Rovereto, Italy, which is known in Italy as the Italian Bitcoin Valley. Why is it known as the Bitcoin Valley? Because this place has seen a large adoption of Bitcoin in restaurants, bars. Many people accept Bitcoin here for the businesses, and I'm here in front of a Compro Euro, which means we buy euro shop, a place where you can buy Bitcoins actually. And we will discuss the recent news of Facebook planning to launch its own cryptocurrency, Libra. And we will discuss it with the owner of this Bitcoin initiative here.
I am here with Marco Amadori, and we have already made a long talk show in Italian. We are now making another talk show in English, so if you understand Italian you can look on the internet for the other talk show. Otherwise you can watch this one, even if you have already seen the other one, because we won't probably say the same things because our minds are not repeating a script. We are just improvising discussion. And our argument of discussion today is Libra, the new currency that Facebook has announced, which has been a news all over the world and has taken the attention about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies basically on all mainstream newspapers in the past days.
Correct, yeah. Libra, the cryptocurrency, Libra, the Facebook blockchain.
Somebody called it global coin before, actually it was...
It was the former name.
The former name, so
project, yeah.
It is a coin with the ambition to become a global coin. In a lot of circles has already been discussed the fact that there is at the high levels of power the will eventually of the Western powers to create a global currency which would basically rule the world. And now suddenly we have this Facebook coin, this global coin, the Libra, who could eventually have been done for that purpose.
Yeah.
Let's
state some facts.
Yeah.
Libra is not a blockchain-based currency.
This is the first big shocking news because
all the way in their white paper, both the marketing white paper, which is the white paper, and the technical white paper linked in the other white paper, they are both referring to Libra blockchain. But in the technical white paper, it's written that there is not a block, there is no blocks. Transactions are not ordered sequentially in blocks.
So if we don't have blocks, maybe we have chains. We will all be chained, you know. This is the hidden message, you know. I'm joking, of course.
It's like a shared database that proceeds from states A to another state, where the state transactions is signed by the validators, which are those 27 companies.
Let's talk about that.
That paid $10 million in order to have the privilege of signing those Libra transactions.
Yeah. In ordinary cryptocurrencies, usually everybody can be a validator eventually.
Yes.
Or can try to be
the
a validator. The miners are the validators, you know. But in this case, to be a validator, you have to be one of the very big ones. I heard that Visa, that MasterCard, that PayPal, these big groups are already being listed as the first validators.
Zuckerberg wants to reach the number 100 of validators in 1 year. Maybe he can. You will find 70 more companies that will pay $10 million in order to become validators.
So the oligarchs of the world will eventually validate the transaction of everybody on Earth in their vision.
Yes, no, probably not every garage.
In their vision, in their
No,
whole
no, no,
vision.
no, no. Also in their vision, it's not working like that. It's not decentralized in the Bitcoin sense. It's also not a cryptocurrency in the cryptocurrency common sense. It's not a limited token which value comes out of the market, but its value will be scriptural. So they will create. They are saying that they will create new Libra coins, backing them with bank asset expressed in different currencies.
Yes, I heard the basket of currencies like euro, dollars, and stuff, and this
Basket of public debt.
of public debt. So not real money, but debt. That's very fascinating.
Yes, they want to use financial assets in the form of public debt titles. They said that, but they didn't say that how many, which ones. So this is must be verified. So it's not a cryptocurrency that you investing in it. If everything goes well, you will land more richer. Because if everything goes well, the Libra coin doesn't change the value. It's it's another meaning of stable coin, because a stable coin it's a recent phenomenon of
Like Tether, you know.
yes, like Tether, or also different companies have created values that are stable in respect to a particular currency.
Yes, and
So
they used in cryptocurrencies, you know, to diversify. I mean, to when you want to go out from cryptocurrencies, you just go in these stable coins, which are stable, and you
Stable-
avoid risks from volatility and this kind of things. Basically, this is the news, I guess.
Yes, but the difference is that Libra coin will not be tied to a single currency. This is interesting because it will give some of the Bitcoin experience to the Libra coin user. So today you will buy, in a year from now, hopefully, you can buy 10 euros of Libra coin, and the day after the value will be not 10 euros or $10, because different currencies fluctuates in regarding to other currencies. So your X number of Libra coin that today you bought for 10 euros, and in your future Libra coin wallet you will see 10 euros and an amount of Libra coin. The day after there will be another value, not so far, because it should be stable. So a couple of euro cent or dollar cent more or less. But the issue is that you will learn that your virtual credit is not some dollars or some euros, but some value that could change, fluctuates, yes.
Yeah.
Which is similar to the Bitcoin experience.
So this could eventually lead many more people to actually try and adopt Bitcoin, because
Yes.
they
have
have
a
a
similar
little
experience.
taste of the same experience.
Correct.
But then actually they can escalate it to
Yes. This is one reason. The other one is the public perceived image of Bitcoin. Maybe some people will still think that Bitcoin is some fascinating magic nerd.
Many people are still in complete denial about the Bitcoin reality, consider it a kind of a Ponzi scheme, a pyramidal scheme, or just a nerd game and something like that.
I think this is the correct first reaction to Bitcoin.
Yeah, but to be suspicious,
Yes, because if I think it seems too be good to exist.
Too good to exist.
To exist. Your mom had taught you when you were a kid that the things that are too good, that seems too good, probably are fake. Probably are some kind of scams. So the first reaction to Bitcoin, it's I think it's correct to be some sort of denial.
I've been in denial myself in the beginning. Yeah,
after 10 years, maybe you should go deep in the matter and.
That's very fascinating. I didn't think about that, but actually the announcement about the Libra coin comes exactly after 10 years of creation of the
Not exactly.
Bitcoin. Well, not exactly, but almost exactly.
Yeah, 10 years.
That's
after,
quite fascinating, you know. But actually, one thing that has always amazed me is like, you know, so many people are in denial about Bitcoin, even after 10 years of its existence, and now after all the infrastructure that's been building around Bitcoin. But what is really astonishing is that even in the field of science fiction authors, you know, which are the people who actually are trying to envision the future, and I know something about that because I'm writing science fiction myself. In this field, I found so many people who actually, after 10 years of present reality of cryptocurrencies, are still in total denial and consider Bitcoin with this kind of mainstream stereotype like the Ponzi scheme. I mean, after a while it becomes just a narrative, you know, and it's very disappointing to see it in a category of people, science fiction authors, which are the most future-oriented part of the population, the intellectual who should understand transformations of society based on technology before anybody else, but they lagged on that. Maybe they are too much still affected by the mainstream.
Or maybe older science fiction. They are influenced by older science fiction.
Yeah, yeah, that's also possible.
There are still coming new science fiction movies when you see an actual pilot of a fighter. Now in the present we have self-driving cars.
Yes, this is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous that a man will drive a super technological fighter.
In the future.
In the future, it's not possible.
You already have drones, you already have everything that...
A computer can drive better than you also after 30 years of training.
So it
makes no sense. Makes no sense at all.
Yeah, so sometimes science fiction gets in a way trapped by its own narratives, its own frames, you know. So actually you have the stereotypes, for example, with money. I remember the credits, you know,
Galactic
credits in the Foundation trilogy of Asimov, and still now you can find people who mention credits in the. This is almost so sweet, you know. But
also, the network, the internet, came to exist in the science fiction only after years of experience of real internet.
Even when it appeared, it was not acknowledged immediately.
Correct.
That's fun.
Also, the first series of a science fiction, present dystopian, I don't know, Mr. Robot. The first season doesn't mention Bitcoin at all, and they are talking about first-class hackers that wants to hit a very massive blow to the bank system, and they ignore completely Bitcoin. So
well, this would be a beautiful other theme of discussion, because speaking about, you know, this kind of failures of current science fiction is one of the people of the things which are keeping my attention so much. But now it's better to stick with Libra. And now, since you mentioned actually the banking system, you know, somebody has mentioned that Libra, more than an attack to Bitcoin, is actually an attack to banks.
Banks or to similar projects like Ripple, which is incredible for a lot of people. It is considered a cryptocurrency, where in fact it is not, and it's maybe a crypto token. So
very centralized.
Yes, very centralized, bank friendly, something. Everything. Bitcoin was invented to fight for.
So, it's the dark. It went to the dark side. We want to use a science fiction analogy,
correct.
You know, a metaphor.
So maybe the first, the main threat are for those systems. So I think fintech systems where they are trying to give access to a more liquid currency, like old-fashioned currency. I think about the dollar, so or euros on your mobile, classical fintech application. Those will be more interested by I think the competition of Libra. Bitcoin is another thing. Bitcoin, it's an investment. Libra is not. Bitcoin is your money for the grown-up people. Libra is not. It's like your bank account with some more features, but
as you
it's not so revolutionary.
And basically, Libra is permissioned.
Bitcoin is permissionless.
Exactly, that's a fundamental difference, because basically, as you have mentioned in our Italian conversation before, you can have. There was a friend of you who actually went to vacation. What happened to him?
He just took a picture
Yes.
of a van. In this picture, there was in the background.
It was in India.
Yes, I think in India. But it was in the background an ancient temple with a swastika,
Which is a very ancient symbol.
Yes,
you know,
of the sun, a rising
Yeah.
sun, something, a religious symbol took by the Nazis for.
They stole it. Yeah.
Stole it for having an ancient mythology. So he took a picture of a truck, not a van, a truck where in the background there was a swastika, and Facebook, after years of publication, this was after years, it happened to him some months ago. He got a ban.
He get banned from Facebook because
Facebook, and he get the pictures singled as inappropriate for the content. Yeah. So he received a temporary ban for 1 month. I don't remember. For this picture, because automatically the algorithm found a swastika and banned him his account.
So if this person in the future will have his account in Libra, in his money, maybe you make a photograph during vacation, and if something in the background doesn't fit Facebook filters, maybe they block your account in your money. This could happen theoretically.
Yeah, it could happen. So another difference from Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is uncensorable, and this is clearly not.
Clearly not, yes. So it's a very, very big. So actually, the positive thing is that Libra could be, something which brings Bitcoin to the people, because as we said, so many people never really took Bitcoin seriously. Now that Facebook is taking Bitcoin seriously, trying to imitate it, Visa, MasterCard, all those guys.
So it was a cool idea if they are going to imitate
exactly, they're trying to imitate it, this is the best endorsement that they could give.
Yes, it could be, for Bitcoiners, I think it's nice news. Mm-hmm. It will probably not be for their users, because now Facebook knows what you think, what you love, but what is really true, what you really need, are known by Visa, that you buy for those pills. Also that in Facebook maybe you are another person, but if you buy something like drugs, pill, prescription, you add this problem and they know it. And now if you combine both, you have the information of where you spend your money and the information of why you spend it.
Basically, absolutely everything about your life will be recorded by Facebook.
Yeah.
Because even now,
and you will pay, and you will be happy for it.
Yeah, this is the utopian dystopian Brave New World scenario.
Yes,
you will
Brave
be
New
happy,
World mixed with 84.
Yeah, with some 84. It's like when you mix two technologies. The dystopian and the utopian. Dystopian 1984 and utopian Brave New World, and you create the perfect nightmare. Beyond Black Mirror. Yeah,
one I don't remember who was in Twitter described the Libra as the uncensorability of PayPal, the privacy care of Facebook. We remember Cambridge Analytica, and the decentralization of Visa. Yes,
That's absolutely the ultimate endorsement, for
Right.
Libra. Yeah, this is absolutely fabulous. Yes, because
So I will not suggest you to invest in Libra.
maybe it will be obligatory at some point. Maybe
I hope not.
there was this kind of a very far-fetched scenario where, since it will be backed by debt, in a way. Let's imagine if all the debts of the world get sucked like in the black hole inside Libra,
Yes, another dystopian future.
This is a very interesting dystopian future. Then you would have all the world of money, world's monetary base, which it's already fictional because you create money out of thin air in quantities which are exponentially growing. It doesn't make any sense. Now, imagine if this bubble of illusion, which is all this fiat money, gets sucked in the form of debt inside this reserve of Facebook, so that
will be spread to the customers.
Yeah, exactly, because you have hyperinflation on the monetary base, so basically the money loses value, but your only hope to get still some value will be to have the Libra. This could be a plan, theoretically. I'm just far-fetching with my extrapolation in order to solve the problem of this exploding spiral of unexisting money, which is created as rising pace all over the world, and on the other side create this global currency, which actually can put everything under final control in this dystopian world. Because let's not forget that Cambridge Analytica, which is actually has become famous for having messed up with the American elections by providing targeted advertising to up to 200,000 categories of people, which were created based on the likes and the posts of the single people. So basically, somebody has calculated that Cambridge Analytica, with its filters and algorithms, is able to understand the features of a person, what the person really wants, what the person is, from the quantity of likes and things, better than the actual parents of the person itself. So basically,
it's not surprising me.
Yeah, that's not surprising. So a lot of parents don't know their children as good as Cambridge Analytica managed to know them by using the filters, the algorithms. Now, we add also money to that. So basically, all what is
the circle is complete.
It's complete because this takes to a new level the possibility to understand, who the people are, what they do, and
you will have no more plausible deniability, because now you could have plausible deniability on Facebook, because you can tell, for me, it's just joking. I'm putting like randomly. I'm another person in Facebook.
I'm just pretending.
But your money do not lie, because you
when
are buying actually that thing you are buying. You are going to that trip.
When they put their money in behind their words, they just subscribe to the virtual picture that the social network is making of them. This is very fascinating. I'm speaking as a science fiction author, not as a citizen.
Yeah,
as the only citizen is frightening.
No, let's find something also good from that Libra coin experiment, because we looking at a technical paper. Some doubts that it will work arises, because the technical paper is filled with phrases like unsolved problem, we are working on this, we hope to find a solution for that. So probably they have announced that it will be ready in a year. Maybe they can, but still now it's vaporware, I think, because so we are speculating on what will be Libra if they are not lying right now on their technical capabilities. I know they have a lot of money, but the technical paper have some hard problems.
Yeah, I see incredible problems of scalability too. I mean, when you're dealing with 2 billion people of potential users of this money, it's a problem which actually is affecting the whole crypto space, scalability, because we still have only people in the millions who are using these systems, but when it will be in the billions, it's a totally new level.
So if Libra it will work, we are assuming that Libra will work as they are intending it. So okay, so this is the premise. But the fun fact, the one thing I will want to save, because we were talking about literacy, so science fiction. One thing that I missed in all the fiction, in all the literacy, is a stable money that makes sense for the reader. So if you are reading an history book, or also a science fiction book that talks about currency in the past or currency is in the future, you cannot understand the value of the people that lives in the books, in the story, are dealing with. If the Carol bought 20 credits, galactic credits, or $20 dinars, or some currency of the past thing, you cannot understand if what she bought is cheap or it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have no real parameters of the value if you had not read about other prices or other things in the book. So literacy stable coin, it's like a dream currency that makes sense if I write a book with this literacy stable coin in it, will make sense also after 100 years. So the reader in the future will read about that dress that
and they will still
we still understand if it's cheap or not.
Yeah, because if we read the old books, this cannot happen. But of course, this is true if this stable coin is really stable into time.
Correct.
Without inflation or deflation.
Correct.
You know, because
I think
Bitcoin, for example,
it's
is
utopic. This is utopic.
I think it's quite utopic.
It will not be Libra, this kind of literacy stable coin, because it's not stable in a basket of real goods, but it's stable with a basket of financial debt assets.
Completely imaginary values, you know, because when we're speaking about debt, it's not clear what we're talking about. It's a kind of invention.
Yes, we will need to
that
see.
That is a promise to pay, you know. So by definition, we are starting already to debase it from something concrete. It's a promise.
One of the main claim of the Libra is that Libra is meant to reach the unbanked.
Exactly, you know, in the whole poor countries, you know,
There are 52% of people in the world which are unbanked or underbanked.
I mean, this is half of all the human beings.
Correct. But 2 billion of those people are ID-less people with no.
So they don't have documents to prove who they are.
Correct. They have no passport or state created IDs.
And this will be very difficult at this point for them to get Libra.
Correct, because Libra is a full financial product that will do KYC.
So they need the documents to identify themselves before they
know
can
your
use.
customers.
No, the customers will say, we know our customers, you know, it's Orwellian new speech, they change the meanings of words.
Correct.
You know.
And anti-money laundering. So
it's clearly that one unbanked, you know, from the middle of Central Africa, who has barely food to eat, you know, he must be monitored for avoiding that he launders money, you know. Because he lives with $2 a day, and you have to be sure that this is not laundry money, you know. So this is really the old finance which is trying to steal the scene to the new finance. In a way, it's the same thing that happened with the internet. You have the old internet, the original internet in the beginning, which was a revolutionary transition from the monopoly of information to a democratic distribution where everybody could suddenly...
The internet of 10 years ago.
Exactly. Well, 20 years ago.
15.
The very beginning of the internet. And so internet has already been called by many people the internet of money. So basically...
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yes, sorry for the lapsus.
Yes, let's explain that a bit, because internet you can imagine as a system that permits you to communicate globally without censorship.
Information, yes, to communicate
information globally without censorship.
Without filters, without censorship, without permission in a way.
Yeah, correct. And the Bitcoin is the same because it's a global system for transferring value without censorship. We need, I think, to rest a bit on those kind of definition, because there are two similar problems, but they are perceived completely differently by different class of people. So, if you are talking with a young and you talk about the value of communicating globally without censorship, he could think it's a good idea. And if a state prohibits communication, prohibits censorship internet, it could be viewed by this young as a fascist operation of censorship.
Yes.
If you talk about internet, maybe with people a little bit older, maybe they are against this. It's not a universal good value that all the people can communicate with all the people without censorship globally.
A lot of people don't like it, especially people who had the privilege to talk before, and there were a few, and they don't like, some mainstream.
But not also the people with privilege. I think also maybe just age.
Yeah, possibly, yes. It's just a matter of age, you're right.
As the same, it's similar to Bitcoin.
So the people of a certain age, they are used to a certain monopoly of information.
Correct.
And to get information in a packaged, simple way that they were able to appreciate before.
They don't like anarchy.
Anarchy,
anarchy, everyone that can communicate with
That's a very deep statement. It's very interesting, yes.
And let's do...
Yeah, now it's interesting. Because the analogy between these two realms
is different. Because
it's
different with Bitcoin, because there are a little few young guys that could think that a technology that permits you not to communicate information, but you communicate value around the globe without censorship, are a good thing.
Yes.
Because it's money. The information is not perceived as the same as money. Information is a thing that if I have and I give it to you, we both have it now.
Yes.
Money, it's a rival thing. If I have it and I give it to you, I don't have it anymore.
Stop to have it,
yeah, correct. It's perceived as wrong that people could spend their money everywhere they want without censorship. Because you can imagine about financial terrorism or some recycling of money laundering, and so it's difficult to find some people that believes that money information could be a similar thing, that should be a similar liberty of right of humanity, and that the right of freedom of information and the freedom of spending
your money
as you everywhere in the world as you want. I think they are fundamental similar liberty, and
but they're not perceived in the same way.
They are not perceived in the same way. I think that it will change. So nowadays, probably the majority of people cannot think that it's a good thing that people have the power to spend their own money everywhere they want without censorship.
They are still framed in this kind of
but
terrorism.
I hope that young will understand it, and when someone in the future will talk about banning Bitcoin, they will react the same. So it's fascist, it's totalitarianism, it's wrong to ban Bitcoin. As a young guy is perceived as wrong, as fascist, to ban internet, to ban the information. So I think that this will be a cultural improvement that we'll need to to reach.
Yeah.
We are not.
Also,
Do not need to lose more of our liberty in order to have a fake security.
Yeah. And also, it's completely fake because the whole narrative about Bitcoin used for laundering money, drugs, terrorism, it's completely a fantasy.
Not based on facts.
It's not based on facts. First of all, because Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies are much more trackable, for example, than dollars in cash. If you have a suitcase full of dollars, this is completely untrackable. There is no way you can track it, you can see it, unless you put there some micro spy inside, but this is already a spy movie. So basically, in the real world, the real bad businesses are still based on
euro, on dollars.
On euros and dollars.
The money of drugs are
exactly
at the dollar. The real money of drug is not Bitcoin.
Has always been.
Also, the most of Bitcoin transaction are still nowadays for arbitrage between a particular kind of trading. The other transaction are for actually acquiring legal goods. So the illegal usage part of Bitcoin is really minority, and in respect also to other currencies. I think that is a narrative is not supported by facts. It's supported because with Bitcoin you don't have to encounter physically to exchange the money. It's difficult to have proper anonymity in Bitcoin. It's still achievable, but it's really order. Yes, no, but see, it's
very difficult.
It's an order of magnitude difficult than using cash, real paper currencies.
One of the points that has been raised is that as you had internet in the early days being something very decentralized decentralization of information and so, but then eventually corporations have stepped in and had stolen the scene with Facebook, Amazon and stuff.
The email also.
The email.
In the first days, a lot of people had their personal
for many years
email servers.
I had it. I remember.
Yeah, I had one too. And now for convenience, like in the New World Order.
Yeah. Basically, all your information is stored by the big ones, you know. And the point is that so the big corporation, the big groups have stolen the scene and managed in what seemed at the beginning completely impossible. So re-centralized a decentralized system, you know, with the internet, because now it's getting more and more centralized again. And also with the internet, I would say neutrality getting again affected and a lot of things, which will get worse and worse eventually. And now the creation of Libra from Facebook could resemble the same path, you know, that they try now on the internet, on the internet of money, on Bitcoin, you know.
Correct.
So basically, the fact that they are trying again to take back to the corporation this new form, you know, but let's see if and when, which extent
if it will be the one, or probably, as I think, there will come similar competitors in the same field. But I think it's an obvious consequence of their business model. They are eager of data, of user data, and also now they are eager. They want to eat our financial data.
We talked about.
So probably there, maybe you could find also a political view in everything about that, but the simple economic business explanation, I think, is sufficient.
Yeah, well, I'm a little more paranoid on that, you know.
Correct.
To quote Strange Days, you know, the films of '99 by Catherine Bigelow, there was a famous quote by the main character who said, "The question is not if you are paranoid, the question is if you are paranoid enough." You know, and you know, I'm always afraid I'm not paranoid enough. So I tend to think that these big groups have big pictures in mind and big idea, but we will discover it eventually. The time will tell. You know, probably the future will surprise us, and our weirdest extrapolations will be beaten, you know, by the real events, you know, because reality has always more imagination than our human mind, you know. There is
Let's-
nothing that we can
yeah.
imagine that won't happen more surprisingly, more weird in future eventually.
Yeah, maybe something else will surprise us.
Hey,
I
well-
hope that it will not become an evil coin, an e-coin, evil corporation coin.
Evil coin, you know.
Yeah, an e-coin, evil
We should
coin.
create a new coin, evil coin. You know?
Evil coin.
No,
We are honest.
At least we are the most honest
Honest
coin
coin.
ever made.
Yeah.
Evil coin. You
Evil
know?
coin.
We shouldn't have mentioned it. Now somebody will do it. Not we, but somebody.
I don't will buy evil coin, just Bitcoin. Do not buy shitcoin. Even the one created by me.
Okay. By the way, I saw that you have a nice.
This is
t-shirt.
one of the t-shirt of our company Compro Euro, which is a company that have some Bitcoin shops around Italy. This is
you
one
buy-
of our collection,
You-
last year collection of t-shirts.
Yeah.
We have 5 models of very nice.
So basically, you have Bitcoin ATMs, and you just buy useless euros from the people.
We are trying to give those service to the people.
Yeah, so
Therefore,
people have euros that they don't know what to do because one day they will be worth nothing.
Worthless, correct.
So basically, they come to your place and they get useful Bitcoin. So probably you will have in the future, I buy Libra. So basically, the point is that then you get stuck with the Libra, which is even worse than
we are
euros.
We
you
are
know?
ready. We are ready.
So
We're ready for
basically-
people that want to trash Libra.
Yeah, you have to find a way to recycle, you know, because
Correct,
now
yeah.
we live in a recycled society.
Recycling and reusage. Libra
Reuse it.
probably we need to recycle and you cannot reuse it. But
You can try to sell it to the aliens, you know, because now we will. They are marketing new alien invasions soon, so basically we will have to sell them something. Why not Libra?
okay.
No, well, you know.
I think a alien will appreciate more Bitcoin that a system that have no algorithm. There are people made of flesh deciding about it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
insane for an alien.
Yeah, aliens could only understand money if it does algorithmically.
Yeah.
Not,
How is protected by an hash function? Okay. How is protected by the will of some companies? What is a
Yeah.
company? A collection of mans? No,
yeah, not even if you say.
I don't
what-
buy it.
What is guaranteed by the debt? What is the debt? Well, the debt and so on and so
Yeah.
on. And then we have the derivatives, you know, which makes it.
Yeah.
Why do you make derivatives? We like to create castles.
Libra could have more sense for an alien than actual cash.
Yeah, I think that actually.
Cash is I think the most incomprehensible thing for an alien.
Yeah, well, derivatives is even
Where
worse
is the
than cash,
value?
you know.
We exchange those expensive paper with expensive ink. Which is the security? The particular pattern in which we painted it. Are you joking? Makes no sense.
Yeah, and especially if you think that majority of this cash does not even exist in cash.
No, correct.
Because in the past all the
Yeah.
cash exists in cash. But now suddenly you have cash which does not exist in cash.
It's only
you know.
scriptural. Yeah.
Yeah, it becomes just
Writing of in a database. Yes,
Yeah.
in different databases.
yeah, so all this realm of illusion, you know, could eventually be sucked into Libra. Well, I think we have
Pretty done. Thank you to
give you
all.
an idea. If that's not enough, you can make a crash course on Italian, learn Italian very fast, and go to watch the other talk
Link
show
it below.
that is
Link
linked
it below.
or below or on the left or on the right. You know.
Somewhere.
Somewhere you may find the very similar talk show we have made in Italian language. Now, next we'll follow in Chinese.
In Klingon.
In Klingon. Klingon is our favorite. This
Yeah, some kind of difficult pronunciation.
Actually, I discovered that Klingon is Hungarian, you know, because Hungarian it sounds really like Klingon. You know? Nobody in the world understands it, you know. So
I
this
think there are a lot of million of Hungarian that
I discovered it with my Hungarian friends.
Not-
I was surrounded with Hungarian friends, and they were also science fiction. They were also science fiction fans, you know. And so when I told them that it sounded like Klingon, you know, they just acted as if I had unmasked them, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, so the suspect raised it.
If you are Hungarian and you agree with the explanation, put a comment below. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, yes. If there is a below, then put a comment. And
If, otherwise, write it on the wall if you can.
Yes.
Now, In the time machine?
And send out.
They didn't.
Yeah, you can send us some Libras, you know, but better some Bitcoins.
Libra
People like the
to
show.
him. To him. Yeah. I will not accept it.
You can try, you know, in this my shirt, you can try to decodify, which is, you know, the private key of my Bitcoin account, you know, which is codified in this shirt, which is not fancy.
Do not try. There are just a few millibitcoins. It doesn't work now. The effort.
I think somebody will go on for weeks trying to decodify it now.
You will find just a few millibitcoins.
Now you can hear maybe in the background.
Maybe someone will look at this video in the future. Where
in the past it's very difficult. I tried a lot of times, you know, to broadcast in the past.
Future, they will find that maybe a millibitcoin worth the effort of decoding your shirt.
1 millibitcoin in the future could be very much. Actually, somebody has pointed out, I think it was the director of IBM blockchain, so we are speaking about mainstream guys, that the ideal price of Bitcoin in his view, and will be in the future, $1 million for 1 Bitcoin, because in this case you would have 1 Satoshi, which is the most little part of a Bitcoin, being valued 1 cent. So actually a kind of amount which we are dealing with at the moment, you know.
Now 1 Bitcoin worth like 5,000 beers.
Oh really?
Yeah, in some places. If the beer is cheap.
If the beer.
I don't know in Hungarian how many beers worth is a Bitcoin worth.
Well, I didn't drink beer.
Today it's like $10,000. You know? So a millibitcoin will be a couple of beers in a pub.
In the future.
Yeah. So the people who are watching this in the future, people from the future, how many beers will buy 1 millibitcoin in your time?
If you're watching this video, let's say in 2030, because this video could well exist in 2032, how much is in that moment a Bitcoin worth?
In beers.
In beers. In beers. You know, how many beers? Maybe beers will...
The Libra is still a thing in the future? I don't know. It has ever been.
By the way, do you remember what dollars is? You know, I mean,
there are still dollars around.
Exactly. I mean,
what are you saying? Makes some sense at all.
Yeah, maybe they don't understand what dollars are, what euros are.
Facebook? What is internet?
Yeah, maybe we have only an alien audience that they don't understand even what human means. You know,
it might be maybe two people made of flesh that talking about money. But
okay, so long. And thank you for the fish.
No, that's not.